All right, hello and welcome. It's a beautiful September the 2nd morning, sun is shining, and I'm giving feedback to the latest DE Hydro Concept 06 map that we playtested just the other day. This version had some issues, in my opinion, with how this mid to A connection felt and how that played, and A felt a little bit too disconnected from the level in the way that B was just super fun to go over, to play, to retake, and A was just kind of underwhelming with how open it is, and I think most of the cover is just still finding its place here. I want to start with the A bomb site cover placement. So A bomb site has always been a little bit like bare bones. The last version before this one was that there was a corner here that you could hide in, much like here, but then the bomb site actually ended here. So it's been it's been widened a little bit. So there's like this extra bit here. So this version has, even though it is more open, it does have more cover with the inclusion of this pillar, and then the corner in the back was changed to this hidey hole. I think there needs to be one more spot of cover, maybe here, some sort of a box. Why do I think that? I'm gonna explain in a moment when we get to the macaroni feedback thing. But even with that change, it doesn't necessarily have to be there. Maybe even here. With that change, it would give just maybe one more thing to play on the bomb site that you could alternate between, or the cover could be maybe here as well. I like that you can't Molotov the whole entirety of the bomb site with one molly, like you could in the previous version. Like the kind of the back planting zone was too, let's say like too weak for mollies and nades, because you were kind of stuck in like this amount of space, and then the bomb site would be like this. So and then we saw in the last version, we also saw people camping quite a lot in the bomb site, but I think this version like pretty much removed all the camping, but there is still this, which is like super fun. Inherently, I think that there's a little issue with how deep this corner is and the placement of this corner. So initially, this pillar gets in the way a little bit here, I think. So if you're trying to clear this, that corner from like behind here, I feel like the pillar gets in the way, that it's going to be like kind of a awkward thing. They might see your, actually let's see here. Go to the corner net, god damn it. There we go. He's a little too deep there. There we go. God damn it. Give me a moment there. Okay. There we go. That's realistic. Well, I think the player would be hugging the wall the other way, but anyway. So I think there is a slight problem here where you can't quite see the player completely. It might be like a little bit too little too hard to. Just gonna do this myself. So imagine you're hugging the wall like this, and you're not very exposed to the little sliver of sight you can see here. I think it would be better to move this corner little bit back there, so that behind this cover, you could actually, or like maybe here, you could actually peek it from here, and from this angle you would be completely safe. You would only be seen after you peek, like cross this line. You would clear the angle there. Yeah, right now I think it's just a little bit too awkward. Let's get to the angles from T main. I think it would be better for the terrorists to actually be able to clear the whole top of this with a sideline from here. So maybe halving, like, yeah, halving the width of this, just so that you could see a player playing from like top of here. I know it's a very awkward, like, kind of an off angle to have an AWP here or anything like that, but you know, I think it's just more valuable to have a little bit more sideline to the heaven here. I think like when you peek it like this, you're getting the initial fight, but then again, like if there's a player here, you can't really comfortably see them from here. Like, it's such a tiny thing to peek. We didn't see that much opening play in the last game that we did. Excuse me, I need to keep like coughing and whatnot. We didn't see that much firefights going on over this angle, but I think it needs to be made a little bit wider. Just teeny tiny bit though. It's nothing too bad. I liked the inclusion of the ramp here. I feel like CTs have more of they get more bang for their buck if they smoke this, and then they can actually alternate between these two levels more naturally. So I think that's nice, because like from the side it's kind of awkward to get up here. You have to first of all do the two jumps. You know, it's easy, but you can mess it up, and that's gonna cost you something. And then here you have to do a jump and a cross jump to get up here. So actually smoking this might be even more valuable for CTs right now. Yeah, I like that there is no campy corner in this on that wall anymore. That makes actually pushing the main for terrorists a little more powerful, I'd say. So I do like that. I felt that A bomb site was very heavy in like this. Like most of the firefights happened in like this main area quite a lot in the earlier versions, and I think that in this version we kind of had like the macaroni bomb site split fights happening, but it's, you know, it's good to see more alternation between the fights that we're having here. I'm gonna talk about a little bit of macaroni and how macaroni, my favorite call out. A little bit about macaroni and how it now it's starting to resemble B bomb site, and how A and B are like super similar in a way. So let's first of all look at bomb site B. We see how the bomb site's like connected. It's like hugging the wall and the connections from mid. And then we have this out bit that the players would want to have or want to take. And that is something that is easy to, like, kind of hard to get into, but really hard to clear afterwards. So it's the perfect spot to fight against the bomb site for the retake. So here we have kind of the same thing. You jump out of the main. It's kind of hard to get into, but once you get into, it's kind of hard to clear, and you fight from there. The bomb site. On a bomb site, it's slow. The distance between the macaroni and the bomb site is a little longer, but I think it necessarily it doesn't inherently matter that much, since it has kind of the same value, kind of the same I'm not gonna say a problem, but it does the same thing. And here's where I think you need to deviate a little bit between these two. So like from the cover and from the routing standpoint, I feel A and B bomb site only differ in that the A bomb site's actual planting zone is on the outside of the level. So imagine these two, macaroni would be here and bomb site would be on the place of macaroni. Then that A and B bomb site would be like very similar in how they're laid out. So I'm getting to here slowly to the point that I think the macaroni entrance, or the entrance to macaroni, should be easier to get into from the mid to deviate it a little bit further away from B bomb side. So remember how we had the mid entrance actually to be like in kind of a this situation, and then you could from there get into macaroni easily, and then from macaroni you could actually push onto the bomb site, and macaroni would be like your first interaction with the bomb site when retaking. I actually really like that dynamic, and it's something that made a bomb site a little less like it made it a little easier to retake actually, and I really like that. Right now it's just so much of angle clearing. There's like the angles are fine, but the distances between everything you have to do, and you have to travel for quite a long way without cover. So, and that's actually where I'm getting next. So mid to A connections, which is here. So as I said previously just now, I think it should be more easy to get into macaroni from mid, how it was in the previous versions. I don't think you're gonna have to add another entrance, but I think the shape of the mid warehouse needs to be changed a little bit to reflect the kind of the nature and the thing that the main is trying to do here. So I have a little bit of an issue with the shape of the middle warehouse here. I think it needs to be more of a like a funnel, so it gets smaller if you go this way. So what I mean by that is to actually just like cut the wall like this. These are kind of those things that players feel if they see a wall dragging towards towards that direction, they will naturally be like, oh yeah, okay, and they act like a liquid. They get funneled towards where the shape of the room kind of pushes them away. So I think that's something that should be experimented here, and I think this corner is a little too deep to in the midst of all of this clearing. I think that this needs to be a little less deep, and this just needs to be something that is like comfortable for the terrorists to actually to fight. I think this part of the level is missing a little bit of the height variation. I know that there's like this stepping stool, little ramp, and then there's like the heaven. So like this is fine, but I would want to see like something that you can maybe passively jump onto, and then have like an alternate angle here, and that box could be also used to act as like a 50-50 split here. It wouldn't be hard to clear that at all. You would see like this angle, and that angle wouldn't be a thing at all. Maybe make the shape like that, but it would be something that the T's could. So it would actually like act more like this wall does right now. But from there, you could have a little rest, or maybe even make it so that you can comfortably peek this angle from here, hugging the wall, peeking like that, and then you clear it. Yeah. I still think that this is a little too wide, and it's super easy to actually push and fight the rotations, the rotating counter-terrorist players that are coming back and rotating to A from B. We had quite a lot of fighting in these areas where cities were coming back, and then there were like terrorists camping and hiding in these sorts of areas. The way to fix it is to take inspiration and kind of what they did on DE Inferno. Everyone remembers that old clip where Freiburg gets like a 5k or 4k spraying down. Was it pus or biceps? I don't know. I think it was Freiburg anyway. There are like 5 or 4 terrorists pushing down from lane to CT through the archway, and then he's just like standing there with an AK, gets like a 3k, and then pops 2 heads or whatever. And I think that like this position needs to be more like that. So actually half the width. Like keep this kind of a height variation gameplay thing in the actual spot, but this is just the width of this, and maybe the length even could be it's a little bit more longer, so that there's an actual risk element to pushing this as a T. I think couple like 1-2 seconds that it's gonna push through this kind of a awkward squeezy bit here. It's gonna make it so that if there is a CT lurking already here, they're gonna have the advantage when peeking into this, and it would discourage terrorists from actually going here. But it would be something that they could do. I think through like a tactic through a CT to the other bomb sites should be always kind of like a haphazardly made plan that it's not very like, you know, you're gonna execute like mid-round or whatever. Of course in Inferno that is like a legit strat, and of course in Cash, but we never see like five people push through mid to CT to B or A or whatever. Or in Dust 2, where has there ever been a push through 5-man push from T's to mid to CT to A? That is like that never happens. So I think, but I want to keep it as a viable option, but I think that this needs to be a little bit harder here. I think the shape of these areas, how this is laid out, like the shape of an L. I think this gives more if you push here right now as a T, you push into here, and you're only concerned about the rotating CT like B players. I think this is a little too hard to actually clear as a CT, and it just takes too much time if the bomb is like planted or whatever to fight against these players like hiding in this general big and open area. And I think with if this was made into a more of a crammed area, I think you would be able to open up this back area a little bit more. I mean, you can already poetry. You can already cut, I think, this much area here if you want to keep the area kind of the same. But yeah, I think with those changes, it would be more fun to play and actually more centered, and people would see this part as like a viable option to take. And I would like to see this fight made like filed down a little bit. So maybe cutting that wall from there that you can see from here to here. That might be a little too overpowered. Yeah, actually, don't do that. Okay. Oh yeah, the last thing I want to touch upon. I don't have much time here, but I think you should make it so that this would be shaped like an L. So maybe like that. Just so you see that there's a kind of a crossfire here on the bomb site. This is something that I should have explained like 10 minutes ago. You you see that here is kind of an unexpected, let's say, unexpected crossfire angle here. I would like to see that gone, and I think that creates too many overpowered situations here, and not necessarily removing it completely. Maybe if you were to add the box here, it would also be kind of cool to peek it like from here top, and then stand on top of it, and then boom, headshot. But I think it needs to be so that you can actually, with that corner here made, that you can actually expose your back to the bomb site and actually hug this wall, like pick this, and then if it's clear, just hug this wall and be out of danger, just for retaking's sake. And I think it, like, that little corner would give players or CT players playing on the bomb side actually a little bit more cover, and the Ts would actually have to take this area here. Okay, I'm running out of time. That is it. It played well. It played well, but I think those things that I give feedback are something that you could look into and might actually help with the development of this map. All right, see ya.